Welcome to ZenLight8, where we strip away the illusions and face the raw truths that can transform your life. Have you ever felt stuck, watching others soar while you're trapped in the same old rut? What if I told you the only thing holding you back is the lies you've been too afraid to let go of? In this video, we're diving into 8 brutal truths, straight from Stoic wisdom, that will shake you to your core and set you free. No fluff, no excuses, just the hard-hitting reality you need to hear. Ready to stop running and start rising? Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get real, because your breakthrough begins right now. 1. No one is coming to save you. Let's rip the bandage off right now. No one is coming to save you. Not your mom, not your best friend, not some fairy tale mentor who's going to swoop in with all the answers, and definitely not some stroke of dumb luck. You're sitting there, maybe scrolling through this, secretly hoping, deep down in that quiet part of your mind, that someone or something is going to show up and fix your life. Maybe you're waiting for the perfect job to land in your inbox, or for that one person to see your potential and pull you out of the mess you're in. But here's the brutal, ice-cold truth. It's not happening. The world doesn't owe you a damn thing, and nobody's sitting around plotting how to make your dreams come true. This is your wake-up call, and it's time to stop dreaming about a rescue that's never going to come. Think about it. How long have you been waiting? How many nights have you gone to bed telling yourself, tomorrow, things will change, only to wake up and repeat the same cycle? You've been stuck because you've bought into one of the oldest lies humanity clings to, that someone else holds the key to your happiness, your success, your freedom. Maybe you've blamed your parents for not giving you the right start. Maybe you've pointed the finger at a boss who didn't see your worth, or a friend who let you down when you needed them most. Maybe you've even cursed the universe for dealing you a bad hand. But let me hit you with the reality you've been dodging. None of that changes where you are right now. No excuse, no sob story, no cosmic injustice is going to rewrite your life for you. The only one who can do that is you. This isn't some feel-good pep talk. This is a slap in the face with the truth most people spend their whole lives running from. The people you admire, the ones who've built empires, chased their passions, or just seem to have their shit together, didn't get there because someone handed them a golden ticket. They got there because they woke up one day and realized the cavalry wasn't coming. They stopped waiting for permission, stopped hoping for a savior, and started moving. They understood that sitting around, feeling sorry for themselves, was a one-way ticket to nowhere. And that's the same choice staring you down right now. Keep waiting, keep whining, or stand up and take charge. Let's break this down so it sinks in. Your happiness? That's on you. Your future? That's on you. Your success, your failures, the way you feel when you look in the mirror every morning. It's all on you. The world isn't going to pause and fix your problems. It's not going to send you a handwritten note saying, "Hey, sorry about the rough patch. Here's $1 million and a perfect life to make up for it." The world keeps spinning with or without you. People die every day with dreams still locked inside them because they spent their whole lives waiting for someone else to unlock the door. Don't let that be you. Don't let your story end with, "I could have been something if only." Here's where it gets real. Accepting this truth is terrifying. It's easier to cling to the fantasy that help is on the way. It's comforting to think that if you just hold out a little longer, the stars will align and everything will fall into place. But that comfort is a trap. It's a lie that keeps you small, keeps you stuck, keeps you powerless. The minute you let go of that illusion, something shifts inside you. It's like a switch flips. You stop looking outside yourself for answers and start looking within. You stop hesitating, stop making excuses, and start building. You become the hero you've been waiting for. And yeah, that's scary as hell, but it's also the most liberating thing you'll ever experience. Look at history. The greatest minds, the toughest souls, the ones who changed the game, they all figured this out. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, didn't sit around waiting for someone to solve his problems. He ruled an empire, faced wars, dealt with betrayal, and still wrote meditations about controlling what he could himself. He didn't have a safety net, and he didn't need one. What about people closer to home? Think about that single mom working 2 jobs to feed her kids. She's not waiting for a handout. She's grinding because she knows no one's coming. Or that entrepreneur who went bankrupt twice before making it big. He didn't quit because he realized the only way out was through his own sweat and grit. These people didn't have saviors. They had themselves. Now, let's bring it back to you. What's your excuse? Maybe you're thinking, but my situation's different. I've got real obstacles. Sure, you do. We all do. Life doesn't care about your childhood trauma, your student loans, or the fact that you didn't get the breaks others did. It doesn't care that you're tired, scared, or feel like you're too far behind to catch up. Those are real feelings, real struggles, but they're not chains unless you let them be. You can spend the next decade blaming the system, your ex, your bad luck, or you can decide today that you're done waiting. The clock's ticking either way. Here's the thing. Taking responsibility for your life doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's not like you snap your fingers and suddenly everything's perfect. It's hard. It's messy. You're going to fail, probably a lot. You're going to doubt yourself, wonder if you're crazy for thinking you can do this alone. But that's where the power lies. Every time you fall and get back up, you prove something to yourself. Every time you push through the fear, you build something unbreakable. You don't need someone else to save you because you're forging yourself into someone who doesn't need saving. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're in a pit, dark, deep, suffocating. You're looking up, waiting for a rope to drop down, for a hand to reach out. Days pass, weeks, maybe years. Nothing comes. You're still there, cold and hopeless. Now imagine you stop waiting. You start clawing at the dirt, scraping your hands, breaking your nails, fighting your way up inch by inch. It hurts. It's slow. You slip back sometimes. But one day you pull yourself out. You're bloody, bruised, exhausted, but you're free. That's what this truth is about. The only hand pulling you out is your own, and it's stronger than you ever realized. So what's stopping you? Fear? Habit? The voice in your head that says you're not enough? That voice is a liar, and it's kept you prisoner long enough. You don't need a knight in shining armor. You don't need a winning lottery ticket or a perfect plan. You need to decide right now that you're done waiting. You're done hoping someone else will fix what's broken. You're done being a passenger in your own life. Because the truth is, you've always had the power to change everything. You just didn't want to see it. This isn't about guilt or shame. It's not about beating yourself up for the time you've wasted. It's about what you do next. You can't change yesterday, but you can damn sure change tomorrow. Start small if you have to. Make your bed, write that email you've been avoiding, take that first step you've been too afraid to take. Or go big. Quit the job that's killing your soul. Cut off the toxic people dragging you down. Chase the dream you've buried under years of someday. Whatever it is, do it knowing no one's going to do it for you. That's not a burden. It's a gift. It's the gift of control, of ownership, of freedom. The world's not going to stop spinning to save you. It's not going to throw you a lifeline. But you don't need it to. You're not helpless. You're not a victim. You're a force, and the moment you accept that no one's coming, you unleash it. You stop being the person who waits and start being the person who acts. You stop begging for a break and start breaking through. You stop looking for a savior and become one. Not just for yourself, but for the life you're meant to live. So here's your choice. Keep sitting there, staring at the horizon for a rescue that's never coming, or get up, dust yourself off, and take the wheel. This is your life. No one's going to live it for you. No one's going to fight for it the way you can. The question is, are you ready to stop waiting and start winning? Because the only one who can save you is staring back at you in the mirror. It's time to meet them, too. Life is unfair and it always will be. Let's cut through the noise. Life is unfair. It's a jagged, brutal truth that stabs at you every time you see it play out. And you've seen it plenty. The good guy doesn't always win. The honest worker doesn't always get the promotion. The kindest hearts get shattered while the manipulators seem to skate by with a smirk. You've watched it happen, maybe you've lived it. You've busted your ass, played by the rules, kept your head down, only to see someone less deserving snatch the prize. It's maddening, right? It's enough to make you want to scream at the sky. Where's the justice? Where's my break? But here's the cold, hard reality you need to swallow. Life isn't built to be fair. It never was, and it never will be. The sooner you stop waiting for the scales to balance, the sooner you can start winning anyway. Think about it. How many times have you caught yourself raging at the unfairness of it all? You see the coworker who kisses up to the boss get the raise while you're stuck grinding for scraps. You watch the liar cheat their way to the top while the truth-teller gets buried. You've seen kids go hungry while billionaires buy their third yacht. Hell, maybe you've felt it yourself, pouring your soul into something, only to watch it crumble while someone else coasts on luck or privilege. It's a gut punch every time. You want to believe there's some cosmic scorecard keeping track, that good deeds get rewarded and bad ones get punished. But the universe doesn't work that way. It's not sitting up there with a ledger, doling out fairness like a referee. It's indifferent. It's chaos and cause and effect mashed together. And it doesn't give a damn about your feelings. Now, let's get real for a second. You've probably spent hours, maybe years, stewing in that bitterness. You've replayed the moments where life screwed you over, tallying up all the ways you deserved better. If only things were fair, you tell yourself, I'd be further along. I'd be happier. I'd have what they have. But that's a trap. Every minute you spend waiting for life to even the odds is a minute you're handing your power away. You're sitting there, arms crossed, expecting the world to apologize and fix itself. Like standing in a storm, demanding the rain stop because you're getting wet. It's not going to happen. The rain keeps falling. The world keeps turning. And the unfairness keeps coming. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Here's where the shift happens, and it's a game changer. The moment you accept that life is unfair, you stop being its victim. You stop wasting energy on why me, and start asking what now? You realize fairness isn't the goal, winning is. And winning doesn't mean the world suddenly hands you what you deserve. It means you get so strong, so sharp, so relentless that the unfairness becomes irrelevant. You don't need life to play nice, you need to play smarter. Look at the people who thrive. They're not the ones whining about the rigged game. They're the ones who figure out how to beat it anyway. They don't wait for a fair shot. They make their own. Take a step back and look at nature. It's the ultimate proof. The gazelle doesn't cry about how unfair it is that the lion's faster. It runs or it dies. The tree doesn't complain that the storm's too strong. It bends or it breaks. Life's been unfair since the dawn of time, and it's not changing for you. But here's the kicker. You're not a gazelle, and you're not a tree. You've got something they don't control. You can't control the lion or the storm, but you can control how you respond. You can control your effort, your mindset, your next move. That's your edge. That's your weapon. And the second you stop expecting fairness, you start wielding it. Let me hit you with some examples. Think about someone like Frederick Douglass, born a slave, beaten, denied an education. Life didn't hand him fairness on a platter. He could have sat there, raging at the injustice, and no one would have blamed him. But he didn't. He taught himself to read, escaped, and became one of the most powerful voices of his time. Or take someone modern, Oprah Winfrey, abused as a kid, told she'd never amount to anything. The deck was stacked against her from day one. Did she wait for life to say, sorry, here's your fair shot? No. She clawed her way up, turned pain into power, and built an empire. These people didn't win because life got fair. They won because they stopped caring about the odds and started stacking their own deck. Now, bring it home. What's your unfairness? Maybe you didn't grow up with money. Maybe you've been passed over, betrayed, or kicked when you were down. Maybe you're watching people with half your talent get twice the rewards. It sucks. It stings. But it's not the end of your story unless you let it be. You can keep shaking your fist at the sky, or you can get to work. You can't control the hand you're dealt, but you can control how you play it. Discipline, hustle, resilience. That's what turns a bad hand into a winning one. The world's not going to feel sorry for you, but it will respect you when you rise above it. Here's the brutal part. Accepting this means letting go of the comfort of blame. It's easy to point fingers, it feels good, even righteous, but it's a dead end. Blaming the system, your parents, your luck, it's just a fancy way of staying stuck. The real power comes when you say, okay, life's unfair, so what? I'm still going to make it. That's when you become unstoppable. That's when the unfairness stops being a wall and starts being a challenge. You don't need the world to be fair. You need to be tougher than it is. So stop waiting for the clouds to part. Stop expecting the universe to owe you sunshine. It doesn't. But you've got something better, you've got yourself. Focus on what you can control. Your work ethic, your attitude, your next step. Let the cheaters cheat, let the lazy coast, let the privileged strut around. It doesn't matter. What matters is you, standing tall in the middle of the mess, refusing to bow. Life's not fair, but you don't need it to be. You just need to be stronger than the unfairness. And you are. You've just got to prove it. 3. Your comfort zone is a prison. Let's get straight to it. Your comfort zone is killing you. It's not a warm hug or a safe haven. It's a cage with invisible bars, and you've locked yourself inside. Every dream you've ever had, every version of yourself you secretly want to become, every goal you've scribbled down and shoved in a drawer. It's all on the other side of that cozy little bubble you've built. You think it's protecting you, keeping you safe from failure, rejection, and fear. But it's not. It's suffocating your potential, choking your ambition, and burying your future alive. The harsh truth is this. If you want to change your life, you've got to break out. And that means stepping into the unknown, even when it feels like walking off a cliff. You know what I'm talking about. That job you hate but won't quit because it pays the bills. That relationship you've outgrown but stick with because it's familiar. That idea you've had for years but never started because it's too risky. You tell yourself you're being smart, playing it safe, waiting for the right moment. But let's call it what it is. Cowardice dressed up as caution. Your comfort zone isn't keeping you secure. It's keeping you small. It's a prison you've decorated with excuses, and every day you stay inside, you're choosing to let your life rot in predictability. Think about the last time you avoided something hard. Maybe it was asking for a raise, too awkward. Maybe it was starting that business, too uncertain. Maybe it was just going to the gym, too much effort. You talked yourself out of it, didn't you? I'm not ready, you said. It's not the right time. But here's the brutal reality. There's never a right time. Comfort whispers that lie in your ear, lulling you into a false sense of peace while your potential wastes away. Every time you choose easy over effort, you're not protecting yourself, you're destroying yourself. You're trading growth for stagnation, and the price is your life. Let's look at the evidence. Every person you admire, the ones who've done big things, lived boldly, made a dent in the world, had to leave their comfort zone behind. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple by staying cozy in his parents' garage. He took risks, failed hard, got fired from his own company, and kept going. J.K. Rowling didn't write Harry Potter by sticking to a safe office job. She was broke, depressed, and wrote anyway. These people didn't wait for comfort to greenlight their dreams. They stepped into the fire, got burned, and came out stronger. That's the secret no one tells you. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your forge. It's where you're shaped, sharpened, made unbreakable. Now let's flip it to you. What's your comfort zone? Is it the Netflix binge you escape into instead of facing your problems? The "I'll do it tomorrow" mantra you repeat like a prayer? The fear of looking stupid that keeps you quiet when you should speak? Whatever it is, it's not harmless. It's a slow poison. You think you're safe in there, but you're not growing. You're not evolving. You're just existing, letting time slip through your fingers while the life you want stays out of reach. And here's the kicker. The longer you stay, the harder it gets to leave. Comfort's a drug. It hooks you, numbs you, makes you forget you're capable of more. But here's the good news buried in this harsh truth. You can break free. It's not easy, it's damn hard. Stepping out means facing fear head-on, risking failure, feeling like a fool. It means doing the thing that scares you shitless, whether it's quitting the dead-end job, having that tough conversation, or chasing the dream everyone says is crazy. It's not supposed to feel good at first, it's supposed to feel like chaos. But that chaos? That's where the magic happens. That's where you find out what you're made of. The pain of stepping out is temporary. The pain of staying in is forever. Picture this, you're standing at the edge of a cliff. Behind you is your comfort zone, familiar, warm, predictable. Ahead is a drop, dark, unknown, terrifying. You can stay where you are, safe but stuck, watching life pass you by. Or you can jump. You won't know if you'll fly or fall until you do it. But here's the truth. Even if you fall, you'll survive. You'll learn. You'll climb back up tougher than before. The ones who make it don't avoid the cliff. They leap over and over until they soar. Your comfort zone isn't a shield. It's a chain. Break it and you're free. So what's it going to be? Another day of playing it safe, letting fear call the shots? Or the first step into the mess, the fear, the fire? You don't change by staying comfortable, you change by getting uncomfortable. The life you want isn't waiting in your cozy bubble. It's out there, past the edge, daring you to come get it. The prison's unlocked. The only thing keeping you inside is you. Step out, for people care less than you think. Let's rip the veil off one of the biggest mental traps you've been stuck in. People care way less about you than you think. You've spent half your life obsessing over it, what they'll say, what they'll think, how they'll judge you. You hold back your words, shrink your dreams, twist yourself into knots just to avoid their disapproval. You're terrified of failing in front of them, looking stupid, being the one they whisper about. But here's the brutal, liberating truth. They're not even watching. They're not sitting there dissecting your every move, cataloging your flaws, or plotting how to tear you down. Why? Because they're too damn busy worrying about themselves. So stop living for their eyes and start living for your purpose, because their opinions don't mean a damn thing in the end. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself dead in your tracks because of them? You didn't apply for that job because someone might think you're not qualified. You didn't speak up in that meeting because you'd rather die than sound dumb. You didn't chase that crazy idea because your cousin or your old high school buddy might laugh. You've built this invisible audience in your head, a jury of faceless critics who've got nothing better to do than sit around judging you. But let's get real. That jury doesn't exist. The reality is, most people don't give a second thought to your screw-ups, your insecurities, or even your wins. They're caught up in their own mess. Their bills, their fights, their own fears of looking stupid. You're not the star of their show, and they're not the star of yours. This obsession with what others think. It's a prison you've locked yourself in, and you're the only one with the key. You water down who you are, play it safe, stay quiet, all because you're scared of a spotlight that's not even on you. You're living your life like it's a performance for an audience that's not even in the seats. And the worst part? You're handing over your power to people who won't lose a wink of sleep over your choices. Their approval won't pay your rent. Their whispers won't build your dreams. Their applause won't fix the hole in your chest when you realize you've spent years chasing shadows instead of substance. So why the hell are you still bowing to them? Let's break it down with a dose of reality. Remember that time you tripped in public and felt your face burn? Convinced everyone was staring? They weren't. They glanced, maybe smirked, and moved on because they've got their own trips to worry about. Or that post you deleted because it didn't get enough likes. Those people scrolling past didn't care. They were too busy refreshing their own feeds. Even the ones who do judge you, the loudmouths, the snarky coworkers, the family members with their side eye, they're not thinking about you 5 minutes later. Their opinions are like smoke. Loud for a second, then gone. Yet you've let that smoke choke you for years, holding you back from the life you could be living. Here's the truth that sets you free. You don't need their validation. You never did. The people who've done big things, the artists, the rebels, the world changers, didn't wait for a standing ovation to start. Van Gogh painted masterpieces while everyone called him a lunatic. Einstein was mocked as a dreamer before he rewrote physics. They didn't care about the crowd, because they knew the crowd doesn't matter. What matters is the fire inside you, the purpose that keeps you up at night, the thing you'd fight for even if no one clapped. That's what you live for, not some fleeting nod from people who won't even remember your name in a decade. Now let's flip the mirror on you. What's your they? Who's haunting your decisions? Your parents who expect you to follow their script? Your friends who'd raise an eyebrow if you stepped out of line? Strangers on the internet who might leave a snarky comment? Whoever it is, they're not worth it. Their judgment doesn't define you, it doesn't even touch you unless you let it. Imagine living a life where their voices don't echo in your head. Imagine chasing what sets your soul on fire without a single glance over your shoulder. That's freedom. That's power. And it's yours the second you stop caring what they think. This isn't about becoming cold or shutting people out. It's about reclaiming what's yours. Love them, Laugh with them, let them in. But don't let them steer your ship. Their opinions are noise. Your purpose is the signal. And here's the brutal kicker. Even if they do care for a minute, even if they do judge or criticize, it changes nothing. They're not the ones living your life. They're not the ones who'll lie awake at 80, wondering why they didn't try harder. That's you. So why are you giving them the reins? Stop dancing for ghosts. Stop shrinking for shadows. The only approval you need is your own, and the only life you've got to live is the one in front of you. Let them talk. Let them stare. Let them fade into the background where they belong. Your purpose isn't up for a vote. It's yours to claim. Step into it, unapologetically, and watch how fast the weight of they falls away. People care less than you think, and that's your ticket to stop caring too. 5. Time is running out. Here's a truth that'll hit you like a freight train. Time is running out. Right now, as you're reading this, the clock is ticking, and it's not slowing down for anyone. Not for your excuses, not for your fears, not for your "I'll get to it later" bullshit. You think you've got endless tomorrows, a lifetime of second chances to chase what matters. But you don't. Every second that slips by is a step closer to the end, and you're not promised another breath, let alone another decade. This isn't a scare tactic, it's a wake-up call. You're dying, and if that doesn't shake you to your core, nothing will. Stop acting like you've got forever. Start now, because time doesn't wait. You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet panic when you realize another year's gone by and you're still in the same spot. You scroll through your phone, waste hours on nothing, tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, next week, next month. "I've got time," you whisper, like it's a magic spell to keep the reaper at bay. But it's not. Time's not your friend. It's your judge, and it's keeping score. Every day you procrastinate, every hour you spend overthinking instead of doing, you're throwing away something you can never get back. You can buy a new phone, a new car, a new pair of shoes, but you can't buy more time. It's slipping through your fingers, and you're letting it go like it's nothing. Let's make it real. You're not invincible. You're not 18 forever, or 30, or 50. The calendar doesn't care about your plans. People die every day. Car accidents, heart attacks, dumb luck. Leaving behind dreams they swore they'd get to someday. Right now, someone's burying a regret they thought they had years to fix. Right now, someone's taking their last breath, wishing they'd said what they meant, done what they loved, lived instead of waited. Do you want that to be you? Because it will be if you keep treating time like it's infinite. It's not. Your days are numbered, and you don't even know the count. Think about the graveyard of laters in your life. That book you wanted to write later. That trip you dreamed of later. That apology you owe, that business you'd start, that risk you'd take. Later, later, later. How many laters have piled up while you've been busy scrolling, doubting, stalling? You think you've got time to waste because you're young or healthy, or just too scared to face the truth. But time doesn't care about your age or your excuses. It's moving, relentless, unstoppable, and it's dragging you closer to the finish line whether you're ready or not. Here's the brutal part: you've already wasted too much. Look back. Where did it go? The hours lost to mindless TV, the years stuck in a job you hate, the chances you didn't take because you weren't ready. You can't rewind the tape. You can't beg for a do-over. What's gone is gone, and what's left is shrinking fast. That's not meant to crush you. It's meant to wake you up. You can't change yesterday, but you can damn sure change right now. The clock's still ticking, and you've still got a shot, but only if you stop pretending you've got forever. Let's look at the ones who got it. Leonardo da Vinci didn't paint the Mona Lisa by kicking back and waiting for inspiration. He worked, obsessed, raced against time. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't wait for the perfect moment to fight for justice. He spoke, marched, died for it, knowing his days were short. These people didn't have more time than you, they just used what they had. They didn't sit around hoping for a longer clock. They acted like every second was their last. And it worked. What's your excuse for not doing the same? Now bring it to you. What are you waiting for? The perfect conditions? A sign from the universe? A day when you're not scared shitless? Newsflash. That day's not coming. Time's not going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, now's good." It's slipping away while you're reading this, while you're overthinking, while you're telling yourself you'll start when you're ready. Ready's a myth. The only thing you need is now. Start today, start this second, because whether you use it or waste it, it's gone either way. This isn't about fear, it's about power. You can't stop the clock, but you can decide what to do with what's left. Quit the job that's draining you. Call the person you miss. Write the first page, take the first step, make the move you've been too afraid to make. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be now. The pain of starting is nothing compared to the pain of looking back and realizing you ran out of chances. Time's not your enemy, it's your fuel. Use it, burn it, make it count, because when it's gone, it's gone. So here's your choice. Keep drifting, keep delaying, keep betting on a tomorrow that might not come, or grab this moment and run with it. You're not promised next year. You're not even promised tonight. All you've got is right now, and it's slipping away fast. Act like it. Live like it. Time's running out. Make it yours before it's too late. 6. Talent means nothing without effort. Let's shatter one of the most seductive lies you've ever bought into. Talent is enough. You've seen those people, the ones who seem to glide through life, blessed with natural gifts, making it all look easy. You tell yourself, they've got it and I don't. If I were that talented, I'd be there too. But here's the brutal, unfiltered truth. Talent means jack shit without effort. The world is littered with wasted potential. People born with all the raw ability in the world who never amounted to anything because they didn't put in the work. Hard work, discipline, and grit beat talent every damn time when talent refuses to show up. So stop whining about what you weren't born with and start doing the work, because that's what makes the difference. You've probably caught yourself doing it, watching someone succeed and chalking it up to luck or genes. They're a natural, you say, shrugging it off like that explains everything. Maybe it's the coworker who nails every presentation without breaking a sweat, or the friend who picks up skills like it's nothing. You sit there, feeling smaller, telling yourself you're not cut out for it because you don't have the gift. But let me hit you with a reality check. Talent's just the starting line. It's a spark, not a fire. Without fuel, without sweat, repetition, and relentless effort, it fizzles out. The ones who make it aren't the ones who had the most talent. They're the ones who did the most with what they had. Think about the graveyard of could-have beens out there. The kid who was a genius at math but never studied, so he flunked out. The athlete with freakish ability who partied instead of trained, now watching from the sidelines. The artist who could have been great but never picked up the brush because it got hard. Talent gave them a head start, sure, but without effort it's just a shiny trophy collecting dust. Then look at the flip side. The legends, the icons, the ones who carved their names into history. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest because he was born with a basketball in his hand. He outworked everyone, shooting thousands of shots after practice when no one was watching. Stephen King didn't write bestsellers because he was naturally brilliant. He wrote every day, even when he was broke and rejection letters piled up. Talent? Maybe they had some. Effort? That's what turned it into gold. Now let's bring it to you. What's your excuse? I'm not smart enough? I'm not creative enough? I don't have the knack? That's a cop-out and you know it. It's easier to lean on "I wasn't born with it" than to admit you're not putting in the hours. Blaming a lack of talent is just a pillow to soften the blow of your own laziness. The truth is, every skill you envy, every success you crave, is built in the dark. Forged in the boring, unglamorous grind no one posts about on Instagram. It's the late nights, the early mornings, the failures you don't brag about. It's the choice to keep going when it's not fun anymore, when no one's cheering, when you're tired and pissed off and ready to quit. That's where greatness lies. Not in some magical gift you didn't get. Here's the raw deal. Effort isn't sexy. It's not a montage with epic music. It's slow, messy, repetitive. It's doing the same thing 100 times until you get it right, then doing it 100 more to get it perfect. It's showing up when you're uninspired, pushing through when you suck, saying no to distractions when you'd rather say yes. Talent might open a door, but effort kicks it down and builds the whole damn house. You don't need a golden ticket, you need a work ethic that doesn't quit. The ones who win aren't the ones who started with the most. They're the ones who refuse to stop. Let's get practical. Want to be a writer? Write every day even when it's garbage. Want to get fit? Lift the weights, run the miles, skip the excuses. Want to master a skill? Practice it until your hands bleed, then practice more. You don't need to be a prodigy, you need to be relentless. Look at someone like Thomas Edison. People call him a genius, but he called himself a grinder. Thousands of failed experiments didn't stop him. Effort did. Or take a modern example. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wasn't born a movie star. He was a failed football player who worked his ass off in the gym and on set to become one. Talent's a footnote, effort's the story. So stop staring at what you don't have and start using what you do. You're not untalented. You're untested. You haven't pushed yourself hard enough to know what you're capable of. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't a talent gap. It's an effort gap. Close it. Get up early, stay up late, fail 100 times, and keep going. The pain of discipline stings for a moment. The pain of regret lasts forever. You don't need more gifts. You need more guts. The work starts now, not when you feel talented. Do it and watch how fast the excuses crumble. 7. Most relationships are temporary. Here's a truth that'll cut deep. Most relationships in your life won't last. Friends you die for today will fade into strangers tomorrow. Partners who swear forever will pack their bags and walk out. Even family, the ones you thought were rock solid, can drift, betray, or disappear. It's a bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? You want to believe the people you love, the ones you lean on, will always be there, that loyalty's a guarantee carved in stone. But reality doesn't play that game. People change, people leave, people let you down. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes just because life happens. The harsh truth is, if you stake your whole worth on them, you're building on sand. Stop clinging to forever and start standing on your own, because the only constant you've got is you. You've seen it play out, haven't you? That best friend you swore you'd grow old with. Where are they now? Ghosted you when you hit a rough patch, or just drifted off when their life got busy? The lover who promised the moon, gone, leaving you picking up the pieces. The parent or sibling you relied on, maybe they turned cold, or maybe they're just not who they used to be. It hurts like hell. You pour your trust into them, build your world around them, and then they're gone, and you're left wondering what you did wrong. Nothing lasts like you think it will, and expecting it to is a one-way ticket to heartbreak. Let's strip it bare. Relationships aren't permanent because people aren't permanent. They evolve, they break, they walk away. Sometimes it's betrayal, friends who stab you in the back, partners who cheat, family who judge instead of lift. Sometimes it's just time, distance grows, priorities shift, bonds fade. You felt the sting of it, that moment when you realize the person you'd run through fire for wouldn't cross the street for you. It's not always their fault, and it's not always yours. It's just life. But if you've tied your identity, your strength, your peace to them, their exit rips you apart. And that's the trap. Expecting them to stay is handing them the power to destroy you. Look at the evidence. How many friendships from high school do you still have? How many ride or die promises held up when the chips were down? Even the tightest families fracture, divorce, feuds, death. It's not cynicism, it's reality. People aren't fixtures, they're chapters. Some stay longer, some leave early, but almost none are forever. Think about someone like Nelson Mandela, locked up for 27 years, abandoned by allies who couldn't hang on. He didn't crumble because he didn't build his life on them, he built it on himself. Or take a regular Joe, your neighbor who got divorced, lost his buddies in the split and had to start over. The ones who survive don't cling, they adapt. Now let's turn it to you. Who's your anchor? The friend group you can't imagine life without? The partner you'd collapse without? The family you think defines you? They might be great. Love them, cherish them, but don't fool yourself into thinking they're your foundation. Because when they go, and odds are they will, you're the one left standing in the wreckage. If your happiness, your worth, your stability hinges on them, you're screwed the second they're not there. The harsh truth is you've got to be your own rock. They can't carry you and they shouldn't have to. This isn't about shutting people out or turning into a lone wolf. It's about strength. Love them hard, trust them deep, but never let them be your oxygen. Build a core so solid that no one's exit can topple it. How? Start with you. Know your worth. Chase your purpose. Face your fears alone. When you're unbreakable on your own, relationships become a bonus, not a lifeline. You don't need them to save you because you've already saved yourself. And when they leave, because most will, you'll hurt, sure, but you won't shatter. Here's the wake-up call. Stop betting on permanence. Stop expecting always from a world that's all about for now. The strongest relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. Make it ironclad. People will come, people will go, and that's okay. You'll stand through it all, not because they stayed, but because you did. Their leaving doesn't define you. Their presence never did. You're enough, alone, and that's the power no one can take away. Build it. Live it. Let them go when it's time, because you'll still be here, stronger than ever. 8. You are the problem and the solution. Let's end this with the hardest truth of all. The one that ties everything together and forces you to look in the mirror. You are the problem. Every mess you're in, every dream you haven't chased, every rut you're stuck in. It's not because of your boss, your ex, your parents, or the shitty hand life dealt you. It's because of you. Your choices, your excuses, your refusal to step up and own your life. They've landed you exactly where you are right now. But before you spiral into self-pity, here's the flip side that changes everything. If you're the problem, you're also the solution. You've got the power to fix it all, no one else, just you. Stop pointing fingers, take the damn wheel and start driving, because your life doesn't change until you do. This one stings, doesn't it? It's easier to blame the world than to face yourself. You've got a whole list of scapegoats ready. Your childhood was rough, the system's rigged, people screwed you over. Maybe your parents didn't believe in you, or your friends bailed when you needed them. Maybe you've had bad breaks, real ones, the kind that'd knock anyone down. And yeah, that stuff sucks. It's real, it's heavy, it's unfair. But here's the brutal reality. None of it's holding you back now. You are. You're the one who keeps replaying the past like it's a prison sentence. You're the one who shrugs and says, "That's just how it is," instead of fighting for more. You're the one who chooses comfort over courage every damn day. It's you, not them, not it, not fate. Take a hard look at your life. That job you hate, you stayed. That relationship that drained you, you didn't leave. That goal you swore you'd hit, you quit when it got tough. Every step or lack of one brought you here. You can scream about how life's against you, how you didn't get the chances others did. But at the end of the day, no one forced you to stop trying. No one tied your hands and made you settle. You did that. You built this cage, brick by brick, with every "I can't," every "not yet." Every time you let fear win. And that's the bitter pill most people choke on. They'd rather die blaming the world than admit they're the architect of their own misery. But here's where it gets good, really good. If you're the problem, you're also the way out. This isn't some cosmic punishment. It's the greatest gift you'll ever get. Because if you made the mess, you can clean it up. If you dug the hole, you can climb out. No one's coming to save you, not because they don't care, but because they don't have to. You've got everything you need right there in your chest, your head, your hands. The power to change isn't out there in the universe, waiting for the stars to align. It's in you right now, begging you to use it. You're not a victim of circumstance, you're a force of nature. And the second you stop dodging that truth, everything shifts. Let's make it real with some examples. Look at someone like Viktor Frankl, stuck in a Nazi concentration camp, stripped of everything. Family, freedom, dignity. He could have blamed the world, and no one would have argued. But he didn't. He chose to find meaning in the hell, to control his mind when he couldn't control anything else. He wrote Man's Search for Meaning not because life spared him, but because he took responsibility for his response. Or take a regular person, say a single dad who lost his job, his wife, his savings. He could have given up, drowned in "why me?" Instead, he got up every day, worked odd jobs, raised his kids, rebuilt. These people didn't wait for the world to fix them, they fixed themselves. Why? Because they knew the problem and the solution were the same damn person. Now let's turn the spotlight on you. Where are you screwing yourself? Is it the procrastination that's kept you dreaming instead of doing? The resentment you cling to like a security blanket? The choices you dodge because they're hard? Be honest, brutally honest. You're not where you want to be because you haven't fought for it. Not because you can't, but because you won't. You've let the past weigh you down. Let others' actions dictate your moves. Let your own doubts call the shots. But here's the twist. That same you, the one who's messed up, fallen short, wasted time, can turn it all around. You're not broken, you're just dormant. Wake up. This isn't about guilt, it's about control. Blaming the world feels good for a minute, like a cheap high, but it leaves you powerless. Owning it, that's raw, unshakable power. You can't change your parents, your past, or the assholes who hurt you, but you can change you. You can rewrite the story starting today. Yes, you've got scars. Yes, you've got baggage. But no one's coming to carry it for you, and no one should. You're strong enough to drop it and run. The longer you sit in "it's their fault," the longer you stay stuck. The second you say, "It's me and I'm getting out," the game changes. So how do you do it? Start where you stand. You don't need a perfect plan, just a first step. That thing you've been avoiding, the call, the workout, the hard truth you need to face. Do it now. Stop waiting for motivation. It's a lie. Action breeds momentum, not the other way around. Fail? Good. Fail fast, fail forward. Fail until you don't. You've got the choice every day. Keep pointing fingers or grab the reins. Your life doesn't shift when the world bends. It shifts when you bend it. You're the problem, sure, but you're also the solution, and that's the most badass truth you'll ever hear. There you have it, 8 brutal truths that hurt like hell but heal like nothing else. No one's coming to save you. Life's unfair. Your comfort zone's a trap. People don't care as much as you think. Time's slipping away. Talent's useless without sweat. Relationships fade. And you're the root of it all and the only one who can fix it. These aren't just lessons. They're weapons. They strip away the illusions you've clung to, the excuses, the waiting, the hoping, and leave you with one thing: reality. Cold, hard, beautiful reality. To change your life, you've got to face it head on. Ditch the fantasies and move. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. The power's been in you all along. Stop hiding from it and start using it. This isn't the end. It's the beginning. Every truth you've read here is a brick in the foundation of the life you could build if you just stop running. You're not a passenger anymore. You're the driver. The road's rough, the stakes are high, and no one's promising it'll be easy, but it'll be yours. That's what matters. Change doesn't come from the outside. It starts in your gut, your grit, your choice to rise. So what's it going to be? Another day of lies? Or the first day of truth? Your life starts when you decide it does. Make it now. To everyone who's stuck with us through this journey, thank you. From the bottom of our hearts at ZenLight8, we're grateful for every single one of you who's watched, liked, subscribed, and shared these raw truths. You're not just an audience. You're a tribe of warriors, ready to face the uncomfortable, break the chains, and build something real. This channel isn't about fluff or feel-good platitudes. It's about the fire that burns when you strip life down to its bones. You've walked with us through these 8 brutal truths, and that takes guts. We see you, we honor you, and we're here for the long haul. Keep showing up. Keep fighting. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share this with someone who needs a wake-up call, and drop a comment. Tell us which truth hit you hardest. ZenLight8 isn't just a channel, it's a movement, and you're the heart of it. Let's keep pushing, keep growing, keep facing the real shit together. Your life's waiting, go claim it. Thank you for being part of this with us.